grade 6 learners, welcome to DepEd Teleklase. I am teacher Aiza and I will journey with you to another fun-filled learning episode in English 6. Today, we're going to learn about composing sentences using appropriate verb tenses. Get your pen and paper and be ready as we go over this lesson. Are you ready? Great! Let's begin! At the end of this lesson, you are expected to first, identify the verbs in the simple present, past, and future tense. Second, compose clear and coherent sentences using the different tenses of the verb. You have learned in your previous lesson about the different verbs. Let's make a quick recall about verbs. Verbs are words that describe actions or a state of being. Verbs are words that give the idea of action or of doing something. Here are some examples of the verbs or action words. Brush, catch, clean, cook. Now you're ready for the next lesson. Composing sentences using appropriate verb tenses. Verb tenses identify the time period when action occurs. In short, it tells when the action happens in the sentence. One of the tenses of the verb is the simple tenses. The simple tenses are past, present, and future as the most basic forms. Simple tenses usually refer to a single action in a sentence. In general, simple tenses express facts and situations that existed in the past, exist in the present, or will exist in the future. The past action may have happened yesterday, last week, or last month. For present, it may be now or today. Future actions may be suggested by words like tomorrow, next week, or soon. Always remember this, kids! Moving on, I have a poem here. Let's try reading it together. As I read it aloud, I want you to pay attention to the details because there are questions afterwards. Tense up with English tenses. Almost every day, I learn my English, and it is not as easy as it seems. My brain really cannot finish, and now verbs are coming up in my dreams. I was learning the past progressive, but that didn't last. And I always turned aggressive, for up jumped the simple past. I had expected to be a little faster. The past perfect I had wanted to get. I would have been a real master if the condition had not made me upset. The present perfect I hadn't respected, though you can believe me how I've tried. The progressive I have been attempting, to the rules I have myself tied. They say the future won't either be easy. Of that sentence, I'm quite certain. But I'm going to make an effort. Really, I don't want it to be another burden. But the thing that keeps me going, as I'm fighting with each tense, is that maybe in the future, it will perhaps make some kind of sense. Now let's answer a few questions about the poem. What is the poem about? That's right! The poem is about English tenses. What tenses of the verb were mentioned in the poem? If you answered past progressive, simple past, past perfect, present perfect, progressive, and future, you are correct. Which of the verbs express present action? Verbs like learn, finish, believe, make, keeps, express present action. What words express action done in the past? Jumped, expected, wanted, made, tried, tied are actions done in the past. Which word expresses future action? Will make expresses future action. Nice one, kids! Let's continue learning. To be more familiar with the tenses better, let us analyze this chart to understand the way each tense of the verb is formed and used. What do the underlined words in the third column tell you? The verbs are in the simple tenses. What specific conditions are expressed by these verbs? Visits, are, is, sees, express present tense. Became and was express past tense. Will recover and will see express future action. When is the base form of the verb used? The base form of the verb is used if the subject is plural. When do we use the S form of the verb? The S form of the verb is used if the subject is singular. How do we form the past tense of regular verbs and irregular verbs? By adding D or ED to the regular verbs, and by following rules in changing forms of irregular verbs, such as think, thought, eat, ate, break, broke, write, wrote. What do we add to the base form of the verb to show future action? We add will or shall. Were you able to understand the way each tense of the verb is formed and used? Let's test your understanding of the lesson. Read each item carefully. Give the correct tense of the verb in parentheses to complete the sentence. Number 1. The entire family blank at her cooking prowess. Number 2. She blank her grandparents last night. Number 3. Grandpa blank that magazine last week from the bookstore. Number 4. I blank the thank you card personally to my grandparents when I visit them tomorrow. Number 5. My parents blank me to my grandparents' place tomorrow. Let's check your answers. Number 1. The entire family marvels at her cooking prowess. Number 2. She saw her grandparents last night. Number 3. Grandpa bought that magazine last week from the bookstore. Number 4. I will give the thank you card personally to my grandparents when I visit them tomorrow. And number 5. My parents will bring me to my grandparents' place tomorrow. Did you get all the 5 correct answers? I hope you did. If not, you may still want to try another activity for more practice. Compose sentences using the given sets of words. Refer to the word enclosed in the parentheses to know the tense of the verb to be used in each item. Number 1. Angel, read storybooks. Number 2. Calapeños celebrate Calap Festival last year. Number 3. Farmers plant rice. Here are the correct answers. Number 1. Angel will read storybooks. Number 2. Calapeños celebrated Calap Festival last year. And number 3. Farmers plant rice. Now it's your turn to try. Bring out your pen and paper and do this exercise. You have 5 minutes to compose clear and coherent sentences using the given phrases with the tense of the verbs asked. It's up to you to add some parts of the sentence like the subject and other details. Number 1. Answer activities in the module. 2, write a thank you letter. you done? Have your learning buddy at home check your answers. Now it's time for a recap. Verbs come in 3 tenses: past, present, and future. The past tense is used to describe things that have already happened. Examples: earlier in the day, yesterday, last week, 3 years ago. The present tense indicates actions that are happening right now or things that are continuously occurring. The future tense suggests actions that have yet to happen, such as later, tomorrow, next week, next year, 3 years from now. Did you learn something new today? Great! I had so much fun learning the lesson about composing sentences using appropriate verb tenses with you. Join us again next time for another fun-filled learning adventure. This is Teacher Aiza reminding all of you to continue learning amidst the pandemic. Stay safe, everyone! Bye!